What you're about to see is one of the most disrespectful acts of courtroom contempt ever recorded. When this 29-year-old social media influencer entered Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom with her phone in hand, she made a serious mistake, assuming Instagram was more important than the authority of the court. What followed not only resulted in her being arrested on the spot but also damaged her online career and showed millions why phones and courtrooms are a combination that often leads to handcuffs. This incident highlights exactly what happens when constant social media use collides with a judge who enforces strict courtroom rules. It's what occurs when someone treats a legal setting like a place to film content, and when an influencer realizes that likes and followers have no value the moment a judge orders them into custody. But before we break down this viral example of immediate consequences, less than 1% of viewers are actually subscribed. So please consider subscribing, because this story about one of the quickest arrests Judge Caprio has ever ordered needs to reach anyone who still thinks a courtroom is suitable for content creation. It's a typical Tuesday morning in late April, and the Providence Municipal Court is handling its usual list of traffic tickets and minor violations. Outside, the spring weather brings warmth and a sense of renewal. But inside the courtroom, the atmosphere is about to shift dramatically. At exactly 9:15 a.m., the doors open, and in walks Madison "Maddie" Parker, a 29-year-old influencer whose identity centers around her 3,400 Instagram followers and her carefully presented online image. Maddie enters the courtroom with her phone raised in front of her, either recording or checking notifications, completely unaware of her surroundings or what is moments away from unfolding. She's wearing what she seems to believe is suitable courtroom clothing, but it's actually far from appropriate. It's high-end athleisure designer leggings, a branded top that likely costs more than most people's monthly rent, expensive sneakers, and oversized sunglasses sitting on her head like she's trying to avoid paparazzi. In one hand, she's holding an iced coffee from a pricey cafe, and AirPods sit plainly in her ears, but the most noticeable thing, the part that instantly draws attention, is that Maddie never once looks up from her phone. Not when she walks in, not as she moves down the aisle, and not even when she steps into the area where defendants usually wait. She's fully locked into whatever is happening on her screen, scrolling and typing, reacting to comments or messages, completely disconnected from the fact that she's in a courtroom. Maddie is here because she received a ticket for parking in a residential permit-only zone. The fine is the usual $75 plus the standard court fees. It's a simple issue that normally takes about 5 minutes to handle. But what's about to unfold will take this basic parking violation and turn it into one of the most watched courtroom clips on the internet, along with one of the quickest contempt arrests ever seen. Judge Caprio has already instructed that a chair be placed for the defendants. As other cases are called and handled, Maddie remains in the gallery, still glued to her phone, still scrolling, still completely detached from everything happening around her. Court officers see her behavior, but assume she'll put the phone away once her name is called. They've dealt with distracted defendants before, but nothing quite this extreme. The clerk continues announcing cases. Each person comes forward respectfully when their name is called. Maddie still doesn't look up. She's typing quickly, occasionally smiling at whatever is on her screen, unaware that she's moments away from becoming a lesson in courtroom etiquette. Madison Parker. The clerk finally reads from the docket. Maddie doesn't answer. She's still focused on her phone. Madison Parker, the clerk, repeats her name more loudly. Maddie briefly looks up, notices a few eyes on her, and slowly walks toward the defendant's stand phone still in hand, still typing, still glued to the screen. She approaches Judge Caprio's bench with her phone held at eye level, scrolling through what seems to be Instagram or TikTok. making no eye contact and showing no awareness that she's now before the court. Judge Caprio lifts his head from his paperwork, and his expression shifts instantly. In 38 years on the bench, he has seen distracted people, even rude ones. But he has never watched someone walk directly to his bench, actively using a phone as if they were waiting in line at a cafe instead of appearing before a judge. "Miss Parker," Judge Caprio says, his tone firm and authoritative. "You need to put your phone away immediately." Maddie raises one finger in a wait gesture without looking up. She continues typing, still scrolling. The courtroom reacts. Gasps ripple through the room. She has just given a sitting judge the wait signal. "Miss Parker," Judge Caprio repeats, this time with sharper force. "Put the phone away now. This is a courtroom, not a coffee shop." Maddie finally looks up but doesn't put the phone down. She keeps it at her waist, thumb moving across the screen. "Yeah, sorry, Your Honor. I just need to finish something real quick. Just give me a second." She immediately looks back down and keeps typing. The courtroom goes silent. Even the defendants waiting for their turn watch in stunned disbelief as she tells a judge to wait while she finishes whatever she's doing on her phone. Judge Caprio's expression shifts from surprise to controlled frustration. "Miss Parker, this is your final warning. Put that phone away now or you will be held in contempt of court." Maddie, still typing and avoiding eye contact, replies with the sentence that will damage her influencer career and lead to her immediate arrest. "Your Honor, I'm literally just posting something. It'll only take a couple seconds. Can you just relax for a moment?" The moment she says, "Can you just relax for a moment?" to Judge Frank Caprio, the courtroom reacts with gasps and stunned whispers. She didn't just ignore his warnings, she told a sitting judge to relax. What follows happens so quickly that Maddie doesn't fully process it until she's already in handcuffs. Judge Caprio rises from the bench, his voice firm and unmistakably authoritative. "Bailiff, take Miss Parker into custody immediately. She is in contempt of court." Maddie finally looks up from her phone, paying real attention for the first time. "Wait, what?" Officer Tony Ricci, the court bailiff, moves toward Maddie without hesitation. "Miss Parker, you are under arrest for contempt of court. Place your hands behind your back." Maddie's expression shifts from confusion to panic. "What? No, wait. I was just, her phone is still in her hand." Officer Ricci calmly but firmly takes it from her, passes it to another officer, and directs her hands behind her back to apply the handcuffs. "This is ridiculous." Maddie protests as the cuffs lock into place. "I didn't do anything. I just used my phone for like 2 seconds. Judge Caprio remains standing, his expression composed but authoritative, addressing Maddie and the entire courtroom about the seriousness of what just happened. "Miss Parker, you were warned multiple times to put your phone away. You ignored direct instructions from this court. You told a sitting judge to wait while you finished using social media, and you told me to, quote, chill. That is contempt of court. And you are now under arrest. But Your Honor," Maddie's voice shakes as the reality of being handcuffed and detained finally cuts through her social media mindset. "I have 342,000 followers. I'm an influencer. I was just interacting with my audience." Judge Caprio's reply dismantles her excuse with clear authority. "Miss Parker, I don't care if you have 3 or 40 million followers. This is a courtroom. When you enter these doors, you follow courtroom procedure. You show respect for the judicial system. And you certainly do not tell a judge to chill while you finish posting on Instagram." Maddie begins to cry, her mascara smudging as Officer Ricci maintains a steady and professional hold on her arm. "This is going to destroy my brand," she says through tears. "Everyone is going to see this." "Good," Judge Caprio replies, his tone carrying the weight of a lesson that clearly needs to be learned. Maybe it will show you and anyone watching that there are places where likes and followers do not matter. Places where you put your phone away and demonstrate respect. Courtrooms are one of those places. As Officer Riichi leads Maddie toward the holding area, she continues to argue. Can I at least have my phone back? I need to tell my followers what's happening. No, Judge Caprio says firmly. Your phone will be held as evidence of your contempt. You will get it back after processing and only if you are released on bail. But Your Honor, I have sponsored posts scheduled. I have brand deals. People are expecting content. Ms. Parker, he responds, right now your priority should be the fact that you are under arrest, not your posting schedule. Judge Caprio addresses the crowded courtroom, which includes several people who recorded the incident on their phones despite the clear rule prohibiting it. Let this be a reminder to everyone, he says. Your phones should not be in your hands during court, period. He adds that if he sees anyone else using a phone during proceedings, he will hold them in contempt as well. The court, he emphasizes, requires respect and full attention. Social media can wait. As Maddie is escorted through the side door toward the holding area, her quiet sobs drift across the courtroom. The other defendants waiting for their cases immediately and visibly put away any phones they were holding. Clearly understanding the message, Judge Caprio resumes his seat and continues with the docket as though nothing out of the ordinary occurred. But everyone in the room knows they witnessed something significant, a judge enforcing standards many courts have grown too relaxed about. It is a firm reminder that judicial authority outweighs social media habits, and it becomes one of the fastest contempt arrests any of them have. Scene. What happens over the next 48 hours shows that Maddie's arrest spreads far more widely than any of her planned Instagram posts and gives her a lesson about priorities that no number of followers could have prepared her for. Within just 30 minutes of the incident, multiple videos recorded by courtroom observers despite the rules begin circulating online. The irony is clear. An influencer detained for using her phone has her arrest shared across the very platforms she was trying to check. The clip spread rapidly. Within 2 hours, Maddie Parker contempt arrest is trending on Twitter. Within 4 hours, reaction videos from other creators discussing her behavior appear across YouTube and TikTok. By the 6-hour mark, major news networks have picked up the story. By evening, the video has accumulated more than 3 million views across multiple platforms. But the attention brings severe consequences for Maddie's influencer career. The comment sections are harsh. This is what happens when your phone matters more than real life. She told a judge to relax. Unbelievable. 3-4 OK followers and no common sense. Judge Caprio handled this perfectly. Finally, someone holding influencers responsible. However, the biggest impact comes from her brand partnerships. By the end of the first day, she receives emails from 4 separate companies ending their sponsorship deals. A fitness apparel brand writes, "We cannot associate with someone who demonstrates such disregard for legal authority and courtroom procedures." A beauty subscription company states, "Your conduct in court conflicts with our brand standards. We are ending our partnership immediately." A meal prep delivery service comments, "Our company promotes responsibility and respect. Your actions in court do not align with our mission." Travel booking app adds, "After reviewing the viral video of your arrest, we will not continue with our planned campaign." Maddie remains in a holding cell for 6 hours before her family posts bail. She's released that evening with several conditions. A scheduled court date for her contempt charge 2 weeks later. An order to surrender her phone to court administration until after the hearing. and a strict warning from the magistrate processing her release that any further disrespect will lead to more serious penalties. When Maddie finally retrieves her phone after posting bail, she sees the full extent of her viral notoriety. Her arrest video has reached 5 million views. Her Instagram is packed with critical comments. She has lost 4,000 followers in just 6 hours. The brand deals she still has are now at risk. And on top of that, every major creator in her niche is releasing videos calling out her conduct. She tries to regain control of the situation by posting a tearful apology. Hey guys. So, you've probably seen the video from court today. I just want to say that I was having a really stressful morning and wasn't thinking clearly. I didn't intend to disrespect Judge Caprio or the court. I was overwhelmed and made poor choices. I'm truly sorry, and I will learn from this. The apology is immediately ratioed. Viewers point out that she still centers the issue around her content, instead of showing real awareness of why her actions were inappropriate. 2 weeks later, Maddie returns to Judge Caprio's courtroom for her contempt hearing. This time, she is dressed properly in conservative business clothing. Her phone is off and placed in her purse. She pays full attention to everything happening. Judge Caprio addresses her case with the same seriousness he brings to all matters. Ms. Parker, you were arrested 2 weeks ago for contempt of court, specifically for repeatedly ignoring direct orders to put away your phone, for telling this court to wait while you finished posting on social media, and for telling a sitting judge to, quote, chill. How do you plead to the contempt charge? Maddie stands alongside her attorney, a public defender who has prepared her thoroughly on courtroom behavior. Guilty, Your Honor. I plead guilty, and I want to apologize not only for what I did, but for my complete lack of awareness regarding the seriousness and respect required in court. Judge Caprio studies her closely. Ms. Parker, do you understand why your actions were considered contempt of court? Yes, Your Honor. I was disrespectful. I ignored your direct instructions several times. I put social media above the respect owed to judicial authority. I treated your courtroom as if it were just another spot to film content, when it is actually a place where important legal matters are addressed and where respect for the law is essential. Judge Caprio nods. That's a more thoughtful answer than I expected, Miss Parker. Tell me what you've taken away from this experience. Maddie inhales deeply, showing she has spent time reflecting on the matter. Your Honor, I've realized that my life had started to revolve around my phone and my online image. I was so attached to social media that I couldn't even put it down in a courtroom. I now understand that there are places and moments where phones simply don't belong, and where my audience and my posts are irrelevant. Most importantly, I've learned that respecting authority and the legal system isn't optional, it's essential for society to function properly. Judge Caprio pauses, weighing her words. Miss Parker, I'm going to ask you something, and I want a completely honest response. If you could go back to that morning 2 weeks ago, what would you change? Maddie responds without hesitation, clearly sincere. Your Honor, if I could go back, I would leave my phone in my car before even entering the courthouse. I would give you my full attention. I would show proper respect, and I would recognize that a $75 parking ticket is not worth risking my integrity, my reputation, or my freedom. Judge Caprio nods slowly. Miss Parker, here is my decision regarding your contempt charge. You are ordered to serve 48 hours in the county jail. Maddie looks surprised but remains quiet. However, Judge Caprio continues, I'm going to suspend that sentence on 2 conditions. First, you will complete 80 hours of community service, specifically with the Providence court system, helping educate the public on courtroom etiquette and the importance of respecting judicial proceedings. Second, You will produce a public service announcement video focused on phone addiction and proper courtroom conduct, which will be shown to every defendant in this court system. Do you accept these conditions? Yes, Your Honor, Maddie replies right away. Absolutely. In addition, Miss Parker, your original parking violation fine of $75 plus court fees will remain in place. You will also be responsible for a $500 penalty for the contempt charge. Your total amount due is $575, payable within 30 days. Maddie nods, accepting the financial consequences without protest. One more point. Miss Parker, Judge Caprio continues, you mentioned losing followers and sponsorship deals because of this situation. That is a natural result of your choices. But I want you to understand those losses are not a punishment from this court. They are society's way of reminding you that actions carry consequences. Your responsibility now is to restore your reputation, not through polished Instagram posts, but through sincere improvement and real accountability. Thank you. Your Honor, Maddie answers, and for the first time, her tone reflects honest humility instead of influencer performance. I understand. In the months that follow, Maddie Parker completes every part of her sentence. She finishes her 80 hours of community service, during which she speaks to hundreds of defendants about the importance of keeping their phones away, respecting courtroom rules, and recognizing that legal proceedings are not opportunities for content creation. She also produces a meaningful public service announcement that gains viral attention for positive reasons. In it, she includes footage of her arrest, explains her missteps, and encourages others to avoid repeating them. The video reaches 10 million views and receives praise from legal experts and educators. Most importantly, Maddie fundamentally changes how she interacts with social media. She reduces how often she posts and maintains full transparency with her followers about her mistakes and personal growth. She uses her platform to address phone addiction and the value of being fully present in meaningful moments. While her follower count eventually stabilizes at 280,000 lower than before, it reflects a more engaged and authentic audience. Her honesty and transformation attract sponsorships from companies that appreciate her redemption story. 6 months after her arrest, Maddie returns to Judge Caprio's courtroom not as a defendant, but as a speaker at a court-sponsored event on social media responsibility. Standing in the same spot where she was once arrested, she speaks to an audience of judges, court staff, community members, and young adults. 6 months ago, I stood right here in handcuffs, Maddie says, her voice steady. I was arrested because I told Judge Caprio to chill while I finished posting on Instagram. That moment of being arrested became the turning point that forced me to grow as a person. She gestures to her phone, lying face down on a nearby table. This device, she continues, had become more important to me than real human connections, more important than respecting authority, more important than being present in my own life. It took being arrested in this courtroom to realize that some moments are too important for phones. Court proceedings are one of those moments. So are family dinners, meaningful conversations, and moments of genuine connection with others. Judge Caprio, present at the event, follows her remarks. Miss Parker entered this courtroom 6 months ago having lost perspective on what truly matters, he says. She left in handcuffs, but she used that experience to genuinely change, not just her actions, but her understanding of respect, responsibility, and the importance of being present in significant moments. This is what accountability looks like when someone chooses growth over simply serving a sentence. Maddie's redemption presentation video is shared widely, though not nearly as much as her arrest video. For her, that's okay. She's learned that viral attention is meaningless if it comes from moments you're ashamed of. More importantly, she's realized that the audience that truly matters isn't online followers, but the people in front of you who deserve your respect and focus. Today, Maddie works as a social media consultant with a clear focus. She guides content creators on maintaining boundaries, professional behavior, and recognizing when it's time to put the phone away. She regularly speaks at schools about phone addiction and at legal education events about her personal experience. Her social media bio no longer boasts follower counts. Instead, it reads, "Former influencer arrested for contempt of court. Now, teaching others what I learned the hard way. Put your phone down." The real world matters more. Whenever she enters a professional space, whether a meeting, presentation, or even a doctor's appointment, her phone stays in her bag, powered off. Maddie learned, the hard way, that some moments require full attention and respect. That lesson came at a high cost: handcuffs, viral humiliation, lost sponsorships, and 60,000 followers. But in return, she gained something far more valuable: the ability to be present in her own life and the understanding that authority deserves respect, regardless of whether it fits your content.